Aglaia odorata, a queen of fragrance and harmony. A species of the mahogany family, Aglaia odorata is an evergreen tropical bush or small multi-branch tree growing up to 3 meters high. It is native to China and also called Chinese rice flower or Chinese perfume plant, Chinese perfume bonsai tree, or also peppery orchid or mock lemon. There's a lot of names for actually the Aglaia. And for the flower, it's called in China Misilanwa. Besides in China, it is also found in Indonesia, Cambodia, Myanmar, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Laos, and even in northern Australia. Aglaia is cultivated as an ornamental tree for its very fragrant flowers in gardens and along roadsides. It prefers warm and moist weather. The shrub produces clusters of tiny yellow flowers which usually do not open really. Their bright little balls, 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter, resemble puffed rice grains and appear all over the year, emitting a very delicate sweet fragrance, particularly at evening time. Although they are tinier than lentils, they radiate their perfume for about 20 feet far away. Aglaia odorata oil is produced as an absolute, which means that the flowers are not distilled but extracted with a solvent, like alcohol, hexane, or also CO2. Aglaia absolute is a green liquid displaying a very soft, sweet, floral, fruity bouquet with a woody, herbaceous, and also spicy undertone. Somehow also with a scent of tea and hay even. It has a very pleasant aroma profile, whose subtle and etheric perfume makes us feel as if walking into a high-class flower shop, filled with the scent of fresh flowers and plants. Full of precious biomolecules, such as sesquiterpenes, the oil grants stability and a sense of security. This is typical for strong floral notes from nature. They usually have a balancing and centering psychological effect, resolving tensions, soothing sorrow, and opening the heart. In Ayurveda, we would apply such a fragrance for imbalances of the Pitta and the Vata doshas, or otherwise said, for people who are either too fiery or too much in the mind. Aglaia is a tonic for our nerves, especially also for those who are vulnerable and stuck in communication problems. Let us look at some effects of Aglaia. The branches and leaves are used against pain and rheumatic joint pains, injuries from falls, superficial infections, and toxic swelling. They dispel wind and dampness and remove stasis and swelling. Internally used, the odorine obtained from this plant have been used for feverishness, convulsive illnesses, and menopausal problems. These compounds also unfold cancer chemopreventive activity. A decoction of flowers promotes circulation and can ventilate the lungs to relieve cough and remove mucus if we are suffering from cold. In China, flowers and roots are used as a tonic. The flowers are also applied for flavoring special sorts of tea. Aglaia can regulate the production of histamines, which work as neurotransmitters for stimuli like pain, inflammation, allergies, itching, and stress in general. It has a relaxing effect on muscles and strengthens the cardiovascular system. And, which is also important, Aglaia stimulates the production of serotonin, endorphins, and encephalines. Serotonin has a highly important calming, relaxing, and harmonizing effect on our system. Without sufficient serotonin, people get nervous and may suffer from stomach or intestinal troubles and also insomnia. Encephaline makes you cheerful and reduces pain. A lack of encephalines can lead to melancholy and a lack of self-confidence. Endorphins are hormones for happiness, giving euphoria. Lacking endorphins may result in indifference, in shyness, and reduced joy of life. Aglaia Absolute is deeply relaxing, restorative, and calming. It is used to boost moods, encourages emotional healing, and brings peace and calmness. It invokes a state of blissed out grace. Let's look a little bit on the principle of flower. Typical for strong floral fragrances derived from extracts and essential oils, Aglaia holds that stand. The essence opens us up deep from within to a subtle energy level which pertains to the special connection of any flower with prana or with chi. If we want to speak of a plant consciousness as a helper for the evolution of human consciousness, we can say that floral prana in nature links us to our soul, to the level of our deeper essence hidden behind our physiology. In alchemy, the flower is connected to sulfur, which is a colorful, warm, fragrant element in nature, as opposed to sal, the cold, mineral, dense element which is present in the root. Anthroposophy speaks of sulfur as harmony of the air and fire elements, as well as sulfur being the element of bliss, ecstasy, but also of creation and dissolution. The flowers live short lives, in this sense of the principle of death and rebirth. This explains what was said before in terms of Ayurveda, that Aglaia flower oil is good for imbalances of the Pitta dosha, the fire, and Vata dosha, the air and space element. For people who are either too much heated up or too much caught by their thoughts and emotions. Flowers are the great seducers on earth. Fragrance of the flowers, of course, mainly, can reach far in space. Their beauty, their color, and their aroma helps not only to uplift the soul, but at the same time it is used for attraction, for procreation and multiplication. Plants are incredibly creative to take advantage of the world of animals, especially of course of the insects, in order to achieve their goals. It should make us reflect on this amazing connection of the flower with our soul and at the same time with the procreative energy. Maybe with a deep message to understand or to interpret. In the final end, spiritually, they belong both together. And once we have understood that the presence of essential oils in the plants have their origin in this magic interplay of the unmanifest pranic soul level, the astral level, with the manifest, the more matter-oriented procreative dynamics, we have a beautiful way with this to grasp their inner life principle, which is not far from our own human life principle. Here's a quote from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi: "The whole physiology is just like the physiology of a leaf, the physiology of a flower, physiology of a fruit, the physiology of many, many expressions of the unmanifest, transcendental value of the sap. One doesn't see the sap. What one sees is leaves, flowers, fruits, branches, etc." Quote end. So then, once again, volatility, the space element, or akasha as we say in Ayurveda, and fragrance, linked to the earth element according to Ayurveda, pranic energy and seduction, soul and procreation. The opposites are lively within the flower and in its essential oil drive, which it bestows to all essential oils often present in other organs of the plant, such as the leaves, the stem, the wood, the root. And not to forget, there's also an element of community in the flower, clearly visible in the multifold arrangements of petals, often as flowers within flowers, like so beautiful present in the Asteraceae family, the sunflower, chamomiles, and all these. Again, something to reflect upon, how flowers express togetherness in so many different ways. I once saw in a field of margaret flowers, which are already many flowers in one flower, several of the flowers stuck to one another as if wanting to embrace the one next to them, as if not having enough community in their single spheric connectedness as just one many in one flower. And here's some practical thoughts. The fresh leaves of Aglaia can be mashed into a paste prepared with water and smeared on wounds. In Java, an infusion of the leaves is taken for venereal diseases. In natural perfumery, Aglaia odorata is used in precious wood bases. Chyper, fougere, forest notes, intense bouquets, floral notes, and amber bases. The main chemical compounds of the flowers are sesquiterpenes, for example alpha-humulane, caryophyllene, cubibane, and gojanane. Also methyl esters called methyl jasmonate. Branches and leaves contain triterpenoids, aglayol, aglayandiol, aglaitrirolland, aglayon, alkaloids, odorin, orodinol, etc. In one study, by extracting the volatile compounds of the flower by supercritical CO2 extractions, it showed 48 compounds, among which were 18 terpenes or sesquiterpenes, 12 esters, and other constituents. Alpha-humulane followed by ethyllinolenate, gamma-crane, D, beta-alamine, copaine, caryophyllene, methyljasponate, beta-humulane, etc. All these were identified. Aglaia odorata is also beneficial for sensitive, dry and irritated skin. It lends a radiant, useful complexion and reduces wrinkles. And it helps to reduce acne. Here's a quote and it helps to reduce acne, quote, owing to its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory and astringent properties, Aglaia absolutely boosts collagen production and protects the skin from environmental damage and rapid aging. Its highly intriguing and delightful scent makes it an excellent natural fragrance to add to soaps, to lotions, bath bombs, natural perfumes, and makeup. Quote end. And also in terms of skin cancer, Aglaia has a richer history. For example, quote, study isolated aminopyrrolidinine, diamides, odorine, and odorinol from Aglaia odorata. Studies showed odorine and odorinol inhibited both the initiation and promotion stages of two-stage skin carcinogenesis. Other studies showed Aglaia as an efficient solution against anti-herpes simplex virus type 1. So, to conclude, Aglaia odorata gracefully reminds us that we are the flowers. We are the earth, the trees, the bushes, the grass. We are made in patterns of light in matter, and we share this with everything around us. A beautiful fragrance exhaling from a small Aglaia bottle can spontaneously make us feel this connection with the world that was there long before us, and which somehow, magically, prepared the ways for us to settle on this beautiful planet. Our world around us is not as different as we think, and we have no reason to feel superior to anything. If we share the same building blocks of life, why should we not feel connected? Every tree, every plant has a spirit. People may say that the plant has no mind. I tell them that the plant is alive and conscious. A plant may not talk, but there is a spirit in that sees everything, which is the soul for the plant, its essence, what makes it alive. Ancient plant knowledge for healing understood that disease always has a spiritual, emotional, energetic aspect to it. And until today, traditional medicine men know that all disease, quote, originates from an imbalance of disharmony in our emotional and spiritual bodies, and that plants are effective in healing these bodies. Shamanism is certainly one of the oldest wisdom of mankind to enter into direct contact with the plant devas. That means the higher intelligence of the plant kingdom. It is through this contact that man has received over hundreds of thousands of years the messages of healing on all levels of his existence. And it is without doubt that the level of psycho-spiritual opening, with the medicinal plant as a mediator, has always been the foremost of all curative approaches in the long history of healing on earth. And now, with the miracle medicine of essential oils, distilled or extracted and globally shared, we have gained access again, collectively in a very special way, to nature's treasure house of our own spiritual healing. Interwoven with the cosmic breath of life, we are all entangled. A loving glance on a flower can be like a loving glance on the all-embracing Spirit, can be filling us up with admiration and with awe, can remind us of our dear ones, can make us weep or smile, can make us feel how much we are one with everything around us. And this creates humility. The flower is the smile of God. Its fragrance is His hidden presence.